And when I'm scared of something, I tend to know I need to do it. And that's probably because I grew up in Lindsay with you scary Mexicans that would bully me in junior high. And, Brown Pride Familia, Norteños and Serreños, oh my, and kids with goatee. When I don't, I can't even grow a goatee now, and kids had a full goatee in 7th grade that were bullying me. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Water Tower Podcast. I'm Jay Yoder. This is
Nick Milan.
And we are here on this fine evening to talk to you guys, or should I say Tuesday at noon. But anyways, please hit the subscribe button below. Check out watertowerpodcast.com for our clips and episodes. We got big things in the works. Going to do it in the studio. But let's get started. Nick, how is today going? How is it?
Today is going actually really good. Went out to work this morning with some sprinkles. Did you feel the sprinkles out there this morning, Jay?
I did not. I was indoors a lot.
Yeah, well, I took off about 7:30 this morning. Normally, I don't detail cars in the rain, but ended up having to cancel that detail and just coming home, taking a nap, and waking up and getting some things done. So it's been a good fucking day. And then I get some news from you, Jay, something about a package coming in, which just brightened my mood even fucking more.
I was actually just going to say I have a nice package, but there definitely is a package coming in.
Easy with your package, Jay. Let's hear about the box coming in the mail.
I'm not in San Francisco anymore. Sorry, I forgot. I was going to whip it out. But yeah, so we got a Rodecaster Pro coming in, a nice little soundboard for podcasting, some mics. So not to get your pennies all wet, but this awful audio, we apologize, especially last episode. But we're going to get this little attic over here soundproofed and ready to go eventually. So anyway, so sorry for the echo and the craziness. And I'm in Anne Frank's attic over here, so it echoes a lot. But we're going to rock and roll pretty soon, Nick.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. For those of you that don't know, the Rodecaster Pro is a badass mixing device, but it also comes with some other stuff. Tell them about it, Jay.
Comes with buttons and wires and pretty colors, and that's about all I know. But now we got the package. So we got some headsets, some OK microphones, and yeah, we'll show it off. We'll do a little unboxing video, me and Nick, and yeah, it's supposed to be here by now. So maybe I have to run off the podcast and go check. But UPS has 1 hour, less than 1 hour, so they're not going to show up. But I'm crossing my fingers, hoping they do.
Hell yeah. And this is for you guys. This is they can produce some cool ass shows, and this is just the very beginning of what's to become some cool shit, AJ.
Guys, thank you so much for checking us out, and we got that Lindsay Pride going. That's our hometown, but we want to go all over, so we want everyone to check us out across the board. But Lindsay's where our heart's at, and we appreciate it. And give us some comments. You guys are being quiet and shy. Come on, that ain't the Lindsay way. Talk some shit to us. Tell us what we knew better. Don't hurt our feelings too hard. But, we're just very happy that 2 people want to listen to us, let alone 40, 50, 60. We've been getting some good views. And, I don't know if you guys like it or not, but let us know. But we're going to keep trucking. We're going to be here 50 years from now, possibly. Maybe not, but, yeah, we thank you guys so much, and man, just get some likes, hit subscribe, throw us out some subjects. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with Lindsay California in particular. Nick, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So we actually working on some mini documentary series known as mini docs, and really just painting a picture of what small city life was like and what it's like today, and portraying that to the world. And it's going to be fucking epic, dude. So all of you guys that may be involved, and all of you guys that will be viewers, this is going to be an epic adventure for the Water Tower Podcast. And so, again, this is all for the viewers, and really just getting us out there and putting some content out to the world. It's going to be fucking epic, Jay. I can't wait.
Oh, and besides that, we had Lindsay down in Colombia living in a van. We had Benny in Scotland, Craig in Singapore. We got more guests lined up. But we're not going to flood you guys with guests. We're going to get you a little more me and Nick talking shit. But we have someone who's been to prison, people with gang affiliations in the past, some dicey subjects. Maybe we talk about race. We got a Mexican guy to my left, not Italian, Mexican, right? Okay, and then a white boy, or I should say a red guy right now because I look like I have chicken pox because I have face AIDS. But anyways, reach out to us if you guys got some interesting stories. You know, I heard a interesting Zorro story recently. But if you have some interesting stories about the Central Valley, anything, maybe your grandparents have an interesting story, comment, let us know. But don't get your feelings hurt if we don't. We can't respond to everybody. Don't get your feelings hurt if we don't put your shit out because some of y'all motherfuckers are boring, just like us. But anyways, all right, Nick, let's get to it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, thanks again, everyone. But you know what, Jay? This fucking virus and Elon Musk on fucking Joe Rogan and news organizations spinning this to their own advantage and biases is, God damn it. My mind is going crazy. I don't know what to think, Jay.
Man, I am so sick of COVID, and I know you guys are sick of hearing about it, but it is alive and well, and it's interesting. I'm fucking going crazy. Me and my girlfriend are almost going to kill each other every day, and you know, it's insane, and I'm over it, man. I'm ready to get out there. I'm ready to go to bars. I'm ready to go camping. I'm ready to do stuff I never did, like climb a rock or something, you know?
Well, fuck, you know what? Is that what we're going to do, Jay? That's what I have a feeling. People are just kind of brewing right now. I mean, at least this is what I'm doing. And some of those around me is thinking, okay, what the hell are we going to do when we come out of this? You know, let's start planning now. So when we're able to do what we can fucking do, especially since we've been talking about travel on the podcast so much, got to do something.
Yeah, me and Nick, we're going to North Korea, Cuba, somewhere eventually. Well, maybe not now, but eventually we're going to do some crazy shit because we don't give a fuck. But we want to bring you guys some cool stuff, and some Lindsay boys just want to go at it, you know, in North Korea. That sounds gay, huh? But some Lindsay boys want to go at it in North Korea, hey! But that's where you have to be like, never mind. North Korea is a great place apparently. But no, we're gonna do it, Nick. We're gonna do it when this COVID thing has slowed us down. We were supposed to release June, recording in studio, but we decided with COVID, let's just jump on Zoom and work out the kinks. And it's up to you guys to let us know what the kinks are. So please don't be shy.
Yeah, fuck yeah, but we're definitely doing it, man. And the Rodecaster Pro came in with our mics and our whole setup, and oh, this is gonna be so fun messing with that. And yeah, definitely, we're moving right along, man. But back to COVID. I mean, Elon Musk says it's not so serious. You know, while it's, you know, the governor's saying some stuff about shutting places down, and you know, we're barely in phase 2 here in California. You know, just a lot of different shit going around, man.
Well, in the valley, Lindsay, where we're from, the valley's a hot spot in California right now. Come on, Valley. But hey, I'm also guilty because I'm thinking about going down there for a barbecue and some beers this weekend. I'm not sure yet, but you know, it's interesting. Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. If you haven't seen it, check it out. He's a very smart dude that rubs shoulders with a lot of people, I assume. And yeah, he opened back up, and he said he tweeted out, you know, if you're gonna arrest anyone, arrest me. I'm opening up against the orders, and I'm suing Alameda County, and possibly might move to Nevada and Texas, which is crazy.
Yeah, crazy threats, that son of a bitch. He's good. But you know, I mean, does that make him good or bad, right? In some people's eyes, that's like, oh man, he's willing to go to jail for his workers. What a hero. And in someone else's eyes, it's like, this fucking dickhead, he's sacrificing people's bodies for the profit of, you know, for profit. So it's an interesting take.
Yeah, I'd be interested what his take on with employees not wanting to work. Who knows? But I like it, man. I like it. I don't know if it's a smart move, and I like dumb moves. So you know, I like risk. With you know, every risk has a bit of dumbness. There's always someone saying you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. Doing this podcast is a risk, you know, and everything's a risk. But yeah, Elon Musk seems like a man that looks at numbers, and I believe he said he has 7,000 employees in China, and not one has died. And he feels that the media is kind of running with it. From what I've heard from Joe Rogan, what do you think?
No, you know what? I totally agree with what you're saying, and I love Elon. I think he's one of the geniuses of our times, and glad to be in the same era as him. But at the same time, he is, part of the capitalist global elite, and he's up there in power and rankings. And, when he tells California he's going to do something, here's what happened. California didn't do shit. He said, I'm opening, come and get me. California didn't do shit. So that just shows you, what power can do. But, I think I may agree with him. It might have gone blown out of proportion to some degree. But that's a risky move. Yeah,
and I believe Gavin Newsom came out on one of his million freaking live episodes of updates on depressing shit. But I believe he came out and said that he talked to Musk and he respects Musk and Elon Musk and respects his technology. And it seems like that kind of gave Gavin Newsom a little motivation, because let's be honest, money talks. That Gavin Newsom allowed other factories to open up apparently because of those conversations.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and you know what I mean? Also in that Joe Rogan podcast, they talk about how sometimes if you go a little far as a government, as such a large organization, the momentum's going in this direction. It's kind of hard to pull back, and really say, okay, well, we kind of went ahead of ourselves here, and so it's a slow transition back. So, I mean, as long as we're headed in that direction and we're looking to get back to somewhat normalcy, I don't think we'll ever be there until we do get a vaccine, which is, kind of what I'm banking on. But, at the very least, I mean, we're hearing sports coming back, and fuck, UFC just happened. Yeah, crazy fight that was, too.
Yeah, Nick came over and we watched UFC fights and spread COVID in my living room. And again, that sounds wrong, doesn't it?
I was coughing in my elbow.
Yeah, and I said COVID, not AIDS. We spread COVID, not AIDS. Different how you get it. But yeah, UFC fights, no audience in Florida, of course, of all places. But of course, I know Nick saw how happy I was. I need that, and I need the UFC. I didn't realize, I thought I was growing out of it. No, I'm not. I need to watch some fights. I was going crazy, and the amount of excitement I got to watch those fights, it just shows how important entertainment is, just to break up work or the boredom or whatever it is. Like, I like people like Dana White and Elon Musk. I don't know if it's a smart decision, but I like it.
Hey, you know what, though? That was fucking eerie, though, man. Watching those fights with nobody in the crowd, which is what a UFC fight is based on, is the hype, the crowd, the noise, the music, and it was like sparring in a gym. It was eerie, man.
Yeah, it's got some good reviews, but to me, it lost a little bit of its, I'll be honest, I didn't get as into it as I normally do with the crowd. I didn't think it'd be a big deal, but yeah, it was eerie, and it was, even the announcers were making comments and the fighters were hearing the announcers like, Dominic Cruz should do this. And then Dominic Cruz will all of a sudden do it, or one of the fighters, and the announcement team was like, we got to talk quieter. They're actually listening to our suggestions,
Yeah, that's interesting. Who was that guy that retired? He won and then retired?
Henry. So this fighter retired named Henry Cejudo, which shocked me because who wants to retire with no audience? But he's done a lot. He has a kid. Brain damage is a real thing in that sport. And to be honest with you, I love Conor McGregor. I love John Jones. I love the excitement. But at a certain point, it's like, man, is it worth it? You have millions of dollars. You no longer got the poor excuse, that I'm broke and this is the only way I can make it. I can't sing or dance, right? And like Conor McGregor, what else do you need to prove, But who knows? I say that, and then maybe he wants to prove that he could get 4 belts or 3 belts, So Henry Cejudo has 2 belts. He's beat some great people, and he's a bit of a troll, but he ended up retiring.
Well, I don't know, Jay. I don't know. I think Nate Diaz kicked Conor McGregor's ass twice, but who the belts don't show. So he may have something to prove, but I get what you're saying, dude. Get your fucking money, avoid the brain damage, get the hell out of there, man. I mean, I agree. And same with other sports, too. When people retire at a young age, and it's like, why not, man? Get, $50 million, start a couple of businesses, and live the rest of your life, with as little brain damage as you possibly could. Shit.
Well, Nick, that brings me to an interesting question or subject that I grew up playing football. Loved football. Football taught me how to be a savage. It taught me how to, teamwork. I guess I'm still bad at it, but it was just a great sport that just fit my personality, fit my body type until high school ended. Then my body type didn't work out, but it was a sport I love, and it's so hard for me to say this, but I'm not sure if I had a kid, I would let him play football. I'm on the fence, but I'm leaning towards no. What do you think?
Yeah, well, huge debate, man. That's a very heated debate, and I've read tons of articles in this department. There's even some books out there about it. But when you come from a small town, football's life, man. We come from a small town. Football is life, and up here and above Sac in the Yuba area and smaller towns like Marysville and Nicholas out there, they got some big names coming out of there. Football's life down there too. So technology's getting better with helmets and concussions and technology and sensors and things like that. But it's unavoidable. It does happen. It's proven to be happening. It's probably even downplayed a little bit. So it just comes down to what you feel as a parent. My son played a little bit of tackle football, and he never really got truly into it, so he just didn't want to go back, which I was okay with. But I have family and friends that their kids excel in this sport, and good for them. If this is an opportunity to express themselves and have fun while doing it, then hopefully they're protected as best they could. But it's a toughie, man. It's a toughie.
Sounds like you didn't give an answer.
Well, it's I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. I feel like I don't like it. I think brain damage is a real thing, especially in adolescence, and it's already proven that that's exactly what's going on. And the more trauma hits to the head, the more severe the overall brain damage will be. And that goes with concussions in general. But it's pretty dangerous. I would prefer something else like archery or something like that. But you get into all these sports, they're all dangerous. You hear accidents happening in all these types of sports. So.
Well, I think the main question is not if you should do dangerous sports, because I believe an adult should be able to make up their own mind. Like I did it. I had an MMA fight 1 year ago. I played football. I'd probably play football tomorrow. I outweigh the risk sometimes, and but when they're a kid, they're not aware. Their parents are aware, but maybe their parents are like not giving them the right information. I don't know. I don't have an answer to, because I don't have kids, but I believe that I would have to sit them down and show them the percentages of CTEs from the NFL, from high school, from college. I'd have to really give them all the information, but they're still a kid. And they want to be cool and do what their friends are doing. But Nick, you were on the field as a kid in the Olive Bowl, or the Olive Bowl, right? Where they would line us up and we were just wearing equipment, and we're like two cars crashing into it. The coach would watch us, and we would run as fast as we could. Now that builds toughness, but it also builds dumbness. So, man, I wonder about myself, how many brain cells I missed from, just running into people. I've had many concussions. I played games blacked out. I know many people that we know have done the same. It's a tough one, man.
Oh, dude, it absolutely is. Yeah, and you're right. Shit, I remember being a kid and you were motivated to hit harder, right? That was the whole point. You got to hit harder, run faster, so you can hit harder. And yeah, absolutely. I remember, helmet not being buckled and shoulder pads loose as hell, and it definitely wasn't about safety. That's for sure. For the most part, we wear pads and we wear helmets, but that's as far as it goes. But yeah, you're right, man. Kids don't know. Parents, maybe they don't know. And again, unfortunately, a lot of kids, this is their only escape to some of the traumas in their life, in their daily life, and to play a sport like football, to take them out of a situation that's not so healthy, maybe a better thing, maybe you weigh off that, scale of brain damage to, life trauma. Who knows, but yeah, it's a toss up, man. And it's definitely one of those things, at least the information's out there. At least it's out there that if somebody's curious, they can go find it and see those scans. And yeah, I think you're right. If it got to a point where your son or daughter is serious in the sports, it'd be worth, pulling up a graph with all this information and just letting them decide, at a certain age when they can. But good point.
Yeah, and it's tough, man, because I love football. I want to play football right now, and uh, it builds it's a certain type of manliness that I feel like, people like to say gender is dead and all this, but there's something very manly about me. There's also a feminine side and whatever about me, but there is something that loves just a fucking, let's go mano a mano, motherfucker. Let's do this. Like it makes me feel the most alive I've ever felt, and it motivates me to run, to work out, because Nick, I've been getting fat during this COVID situation. I'm fat, Nick. I'm fat.
Tell me about it, dude. They have the COVID-15. You gained 50 pounds during this shit. It's real, bro.
Oh, Nick, it's awful. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. But
you're right. I don't either.
But not to go back to the boxing thing, but or the football thing, the head trauma thing, CTE. Fighting has been going on since the dawn of time. And Dana White, when he bought the company, it wasn't doing so well, but he knew that in any country, if you watch two people fight, there's going to be a crowd. Now, baseball in certain countries don't work. People don't know the rules. Cricket in some countries don't work. American football in some countries don't work. Everyone's got their own, thing. But something about fighting, everyone understands. It's embedded in our DNA from evolution, if you believe in that. Since the dawn of time, we've been fighting motherfuckers. And I don't know, have you ever heard of the old, I think it's an old Roman boxing statue?
I don't know. You don't know what it's called?
Well, I'll show it right now. It gives me chills, but
okay.
You see this guy?
Yeah.
So this is the old boxer, and you can see him here with the gloves. Maybe he was a gladiator fighter, but the gloves kind of insinuate he might have been fighting. It almost looks like wraps that we wear today.
Looks like a motherfucker.
But he looks, they call him the retired boxer or something. Don't quote me on that. I know nothing. But many years ago, I saw a documentary about this, and this conversation made me think about it. But his face is swollen. His nose obviously has been broken. He's a beat up guy that society doesn't want anymore. They want you in your heyday, and it's over after a while. And so that's kind of what I think most people understand, but a kid doesn't understand that.
Yeah, that's fucked up, and that's reality, I think. And you bring up a good point, Jay, because I went into college late in my life, and I ran into young athletes, a couple, because I was on the newspaper staff at the time, and they were playing, I think it was soccer, and I'm sitting there interviewing them, and it's kind of getting towards the end of the season. They didn't really make it to go to a 4-year Ivy League university. And so this is the end of it. This is the end of their career. And, I ask them, what's next type of thing. And none of them really know, it's, a couple of them, know what they're doing. But for the most part, this is what they've known their entire lives, right? They've played soccer since they were 5 years old. That's all they ever did. Their parents put a lot of money, probably tens of thousands of dollars into summer camps and leagues and club ball and all this stuff. Only for one day for it to be over, and so you really got to plan it too, because the odds of getting in the NBA or the NFL or professional volleyball or whatever it may be, very slim,
Man, it's, it's also like, I tend to feel like, there's a Tim McGraw song. He's a country artist that's probably not very popular with the hardcore country people, but he was very famous in the 90s, early 2000s, but he had a song called Live Like You're Dying. He talked about, like, maybe, I forget, the guy in the song had cancer or something, and all of a sudden he's riding a bull, because he has the death's knocking at his door, the Grim Reaper. And he's skydiving. He's doing all this stuff he never did because he realizes, like, time's up. And it's called, the chorus is Live Like You're Dying. And I remember hearing that song, and that's the only reason I traveled. I said, I'm going to live like, my deathbed's right there, and I could die tomorrow. Like, what are my regrets, And as I get older, I have to balance that out with finances and retirement and thinking about that, because I used to never think about that. I was like, student loan money? Hell yeah. Let's go travel the world. Let's go jump out of a plane. Let's go walk down the ghetto street of Salvador, Brazil. Let's get crazy. And I have some stories that mean so much to me because of that. But it makes me think about kids playing football. What if that kid gets, Jason Misalafua, whose birthday just happened, rest in peace, was a childhood friend of ours that was a great football player and had a blast playing football. And, you know, played football in junior college and ended up passing away tragically a few years later. And I can imagine taking football out of that guy's life. Can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, taken at a young age, man. R.I.P. Jason, man. We miss you. And played ball, man, and loved it. And had potential to, you know, possibly continue on. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that, you know, who knows where that could have gone, and you know, as far as even brain trauma, but we see it all the time, man. I mean, you see it all the time in reports and news reports, and athletes, you know, committing suicide after they retire, and you know, just tragic stories like that. I mean, it is a very sad situation for sure. But there was something you had mentioned, and I wanted to talk about that.
Hey, Nick, have you ever heard of the Sentinelese Tribe?
No, what's that?
Oh, man. So I kind of am obsessed a little bit. It's been years since I looked into it, but I kind of dived into it today a little bit. But I'm into tribes that have never had contact with our society. You know, today societies with electricity, water, whatever, or have had minimal contact. And there's basically 3 locations in the world where this has happened. And, you know, parts of the, you know, or the Amazon, which, you know, these people are being discovered and being pushed out, Papua New Guinea, and then islands off India, which I believe India owns. And this one island has a tribe called Sentinelese Tribe. And man, they're as secluded as you can be. I mean, there was a tribe, the Chakari, I believe, that was on an island next to them, and they allowed humans, society, our humans, they allowed, you know, modern day humans to come over, and they're slowly dying off. And now there's tourists that go over there. It's disgusting. The Sentinelese Tribe are gangster motherfuckers, Nick, and that's why I like them. The Sentinelese Tribe will kill you if you roll up.
Wow.
They don't care. Like I passed by these islands on a semester at sea, which was a college ship that went around the world. We went through it and we saw an oil tanker. I believe it was that island, but it was tilted over, like crashed, because sometimes there's bad weather, whatever. And we could see the oil tanker there, but we didn't go near it. But these guys, there's been stories of oil tankers crashing, people washing up, and they literally will bow and arrow your ass or spear your ass to death around the spot. It's crazy.
Damn, that's fucked up. So
yeah.
where is that? Where was that one located at?
The Sentinelese live on North Sentinel Island in the Andaman Islands, which are in the Bay of Bengal and administrated by India. And the island lies off the southwest coast of South Andaman Island, about 40 miles west of Andaman capital, Port Blair. That means anything to you guys. But Nick, it's crazy. They've been trying to make contact with this tribe since, like, I believe, like the 60s. There's some old video I could show you. But I don't know if you've ever seen it, Nick. I have a picture. I'd love to show it to you. What's that? I've had this picture for a long time. It's very blurry because it was taken a long time ago. But it's of this. Do you know what that is? Can you tell?
Looks like a person holding something.
It is. It's a person holding a bow and arrow pointed at a Red Cross helicopter, I believe.
Okay.
So what happened was, they believe they kind of know about the other tribe, possibly. I don't know how they would know, but that they know the disease will probably kill them. So these people are just like, I don't know if it's just a tribe way to murder foreigners, but they don't care about helicopters. They don't care about shit. Maybe they don't understand it, but there was a big, what was that big, was it a tidal wave or earthquake or some type of natural disaster hit them? And they kind of were monitoring them like, oh shit, their islands are going to get wrecked. And so they noticed that they didn't see them on the beaches because sometimes they'll fly over. And so they knew from ancient knowledge, or just by watching the water levels, they knew to retract into the island, to the forest or the jungle, whatever it is, and get off the coastline days before it hit, which is not the normal behavior, apparently. Not an expert on it. Anyways, this natural disaster wipes it out, right? So they sent a Red Cross helicopter to see if they need help. You know, like, is anyone alive? Like, what's going on? And this mofo had a bow and arrow pointed right at him when they try to fly over. They know a disaster hit. They still don't want you there. And I love that because we think we're the best. We don't know their lifestyle. They might be way happier, but
well,
yeah,
dude,
man, check it out.
Yeah, think about what we could learn from cultures like that. You know, and especially here in America, you know, and in North America, you know, native cultures. Think what we could have learned over tens, thousands of years potentially. You know, had we just taken from what knowledge they could have given us.
Yeah, and you know, I want to do some stand-up comedy. I've done it once on Kill Tony. If you're a Kill Tony fan, check out Kill Tony 405. It's the first time I ever did stand-up. And it's
not out.
But anyways, not to go into that, but like one joke I wanted to write, I never developed it, was talking about these people and like how you just said we could learn this ancient knowledge, you know, especially white people, we get hippy dippy over that shit, get a tribal tattoo, want to be native, you know. But like, what if they were like, wait, you motherfuckers have Wi-Fi? You guys have Netflix? Why you motherfuckers tell me, dude? What did you guys tell me? You know, like imagine that, like, toilet paper, are you kidding me? Toilets. Not toilets. You know what? How many rashes I have on my ass from yesterday? And you guys didn't tell me, you know?
Run with it, Jay. Run with it.
I'm gonna develop it one of these days. But anyways, I have this video I'd like to show. We could check them out. It's from, I believe, the 60s or 70s. I believe it's some scientists from India coming. And I believe, I don't know if it's this clip, but they have coconuts because they eat the coconuts, right? So they typically bring coconuts like, here you go. But it's pretty sketchy, very nervous parties, but check it out.
That is one of the things. Laha! 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 Dag! Dag! Miguel! Dag! Please try to protect yourself. Any moment they can come. Daga! Laha! Laha! Daga! Daga! Laha! Daga!
So anyways, the Sentinelese, it's interesting. In Papua New Guinea, there's some interesting videos from maybe the 80s or 90s where some people, you know, look into Papua New Guinea too. They have some interesting stories, but like showing them lighters and mirrors and them freaking out. And the first contact, Nick, you got to check this out, these videos.
Yeah, I'm sure I've seen them. You know, studying archaeology and anthropology, I'm sure I've seen a lot of that stuff, but my memory's a bit hazy from doing a lot of crazy things. So, but yeah, I know that a lot of those first contacts that were very interesting. I mean, I remember even seeing a docuseries about how a culture, once they were introduced to civilization, they started creating war within their communities. It was like, oh shit! Like, you know, they barely even realized, you know, the capabilities of what modern man is, and they're already fighting with each other.
Yeah, it's there was even a documentary on Netflix about, I think it's Papua New Guinea tribe, because there's been some interesting things. Papua New Guinea has had a lot of people visit them, white men basically. And there was a Rockefeller guy that went out in the 50s or 60s, one of the part of the richest families in the world, went out there and went missing, and they had contact all these tribes. And an interesting documentary was put out about people trying to look for him. And I won't spoil it, but it's just like it was Michael Rockefeller. I forget what the documentary is called, but it's interesting. But that Christian kid, Nick, he went to go spread the word of God, and I've seen videos of a guy trying to preach to lions and get eaten. And it's because, you read these stories about not burning and God saving you. And look, maybe that happens, but this kid had no idea what he was doing. And I wonder who's responsible for that? Is the church a bit responsible for that? Obviously, the kid made a bad move, but he believed it. And you're told as a Christian, if you believe in your heart, it'll happen.
Right. Well, I mean, who knows what that even means? I don't follow that very closely, but maybe he died in doing what he was supposed to be doing, so that could, be a good look for him. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's dumb and stupid to go to an island where they're known to kill everyone, and you're like, well, I'm different because I'm Christian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a powerful picture too that's gone around, and it's in kind of materials that you learn from in books and stuff, of a guy, going into this, country going through, some crazy catastrophe, and starving lady. He's giving a lady a Bible, and she's like starving, and it's like, no. The whole point of the picture is like, here, I'm here to help you, so here's the Bible. Where really they needed food and shelter and all kinds of other crap.
Yeah, and it's I thought I was always going to be the guy that went on a missionary. I grew up in a church. I don't follow the church anymore, but I wanted to travel, which I've done, but I didn't. I remember feeling weird as I became older, thinking about it, like, I don't want to be attached to Christianity. I don't want to go to church or do something because I'm going to give you, because you're going to become a Christian, so I give you food, because that give and take seems weird, like you should just give. And I know a lot of awesome Christian charities that are doing amazing things in certain parts of the world, but man, it feels gross to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's it's an interesting topic, man, and it goes so deep into historical, how far we can go back in coming into the country and creating this kind of just network of churches. When was that, Jay? I don't even know when that was, but early civilizations, that's what their whole point was, right? To spread the doctrine and to preach the doctrine. And I grew up in a Catholic household, and it was kind of the same. I mean, you had a certain set of rules that you should live by, and nobody lives by those rules, but yet everybody's still good.
Hey, fun Nick Milan fact I just remembered. Two things I just remembered. One, Nick, I don't know if you still do, but Nick used to sleep with his eyes open, which was scary.
I do.
Second, he would always have a Bible next to him no matter where he was sleeping.
Yeah, remember that, Jay?
You.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, I carried that Bible for a long time. Actually, that was when I was going through like my first communion and doing a lot of that stuff that, traditional Catholics do. And I did a little older than usual, but, also just shit, how I grew up. I experienced some interesting things and been around some crazy shit. And I also had like a crucifix that I carried with me everywhere too. And it also went in my car. And I don't know, I did feel a sense of protection, while I had those things. And I would read through it. I've never read the Bible entirely, but I would read through it and highlights, favorite parts and stuff like that. But, maybe, and, I'm not a huge follower anymore, but there's an energy, there's an energy that comes with something like that, like faith, right? When you have faith in something, it's powerful, it's deep, right? You want to learn more about it, and maybe even if you really, really like it, you want to tell other people about it. So there's definitely some energy there, but it's, I don't know, in my opinion, just channeling that energy in certain ways. I don't know how to describe it, but it's
Yeah.
I compare it to science a lot too, right? Because in science, you have to have faith in theories. You have to have faith in the testing mechanisms that can test and date material and things like that. So really, it's kind of the same, almost the same thing, right? Where you have to have faith in either of these two things. So you have to really believe that that is true. So,
well, in growing up, believing you're going to burn in hell if you're not a Christian, basically, or have Jesus in your heart, as I was told, is a scary fucking thing to tell a kid. And as I'm older, I realized, oh yeah, it worked, until I, started reading. But it's The Bible's a great book, man. Like a lot of religious books, stuff Confucius said, you know, Buddha, Islam has some great things. Christianity has some great things. You know, you should treat these sacred texts as something, you know, to take from. But when it's something you go to war for or control your life for, and I can't argue that, because do you remember the shooter in New Zealand that went to the mosque?
Right. Yeah, that was unfortunate, man.
Yeah, and I think by now viewers know my hate for the left and right, especially the media. But you know, that guy saw a video. He was obviously researching mosque Facebook, and he saw a video. Apparently, I read the guy's manifesto because, well, I saw the news clip that this Trump supporter, white supremacist, shot up a mosque, and I kind of rolled my eyes when I read that headline, and I said, and then they said he had a manifesto. I said, well, fuck, I'm gonna read it. And one, he's not a Trump supporter. I think he declines him. It's been a while since I read it. I read 3/4 of it. Declined it. Trump. He talked about Candace Owens. Do you know her? She's a very strong-willed black Republican. He talked about how her policies were a little too crazy for him. The guy was about to shoot up a mosque. And anyways, he shot up this mosque, but he saw this Facebook video on one of the mosque Facebook group that said, please don't share outside the mosque. And it talked about how Islam was going to, you know, basically take over, since kind of Christians are kind of in power, I would say now, with America and Britain and stuff like that in the Western world. Well, he watched a video talking about how many kids you have in 50 years says who's in charge. And Muslim families are having, like, I think like the average number is like 8 kids, and Christian families now are like 1.2 or 2.
Oh, wow.
So eventually in 50 years, the population will be on their side. So this guy watched that video and freaked out, you know, and in his manifesto, he talked about it in detail. So the battle religion continues, I guess. You know, it's a long-term game, and who knows who will be in charge in 50 to 100 years. I don't know.
Well, that's just some fucking sick individuals, man. I mean, there's some crazy fuckers out there. And you know, to be frank, you know, as human beings, we're just so capable of some interesting things, not only with our bodies, but with our minds, you know, and especially if you're persuaded one way, your mind can make you do some crazy shit, you know. And yeah, there's just some sick people, man. Unfortunately, that goes with, you know, people born with, you know, certain defects and things like that too. I think that all plays into that. Kind of, some people are just crazy, man, and they'll do some stupid shit like that. But who knows, man? You know, that reminds me a lot of, I just listened to another Joe Rogan podcast, actually, not too long ago, and it was Tom Owens, I believe it was, who wrote the book about Charles Manson. Is that right? Tom O'Neill and MK Ultra, man, and that was a real thing, you know. I mean, mind control in the 50s and 60s, and making people do crazy shit without them even realizing what they're doing. It's interesting, you know, and it has ties to, you know, JFK assassination and the guy that shot him. What was that? I forgot.
The guy that apparently shot JFK, the guy that was arrested for it?
Yeah, but the guy that shot him.
Yeah, who owned the bar, right?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that, right.
The guy's an interesting dude.
But, you know, just an interesting concept going back to, you know, why, you know, kind of what you're talking about is just religion, you know, getting people to do some crazy things, but it's more of just being human, I think. And just something about what you got going on here made you want to do some crazy shit, you know, and probably media plays into that too. But, I mean, what religion didn't want to take over at some point?
Well, in our religions, in my view, I know this was, you know, not everyone's view. My view is religion was established possibly off some form of truth that happened in the past. But I think if you look at the Bible, I'm sure other texts too, so many hands have been in it over the years, and so many revisions and translations on translations on translations that don't make quite that much sense, you know, and that's what I personally believe from what I've looked at. But it's why can't you give to a charity because you're human? Kind of like you're saying, why can't you give to a charity because you're human? Not because I'm a Niner fan or I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim, or why can't it just because, like, you're my brother? That's why.
Right. And you know what I mean? I would say, though, you know, whatever you believe, you know, is what you believe. To each his own, right? And you know, there's some pushback from non-religious people in wherever you're at, right? And both parties, I think, feel attacked sometimes, you know, because I see some on both sides, because I have friends and family on both sides, right? And you know, they both feel attacked. Like, you know, first of all, don't try to preach the doctrine over here, you know, but on the other side, it's like, hey, well, don't infringe on my right to practice religion, you know? I mean, I believe what I believe, and, you know, so it does. So I think just staying in your lane, right? If you believe, and you're around people that believe, you know, and if you don't, then stay in your lane. And
I don't know, man. My family has always felt a bit different. It's been like there's kind of a majority, you know, Christian kind of faith, Republican faith, and they talk about it a lot. There's prayers all the time, which I'll pray. You know, my girlfriend's Jewish. I go to her family's house and we pray. You know, although it's a kind of a connected religion, to them it's not. But it's you know, whatever. If it doesn't mean anything to me, it doesn't mean anything. Although I like praying to something higher than myself, because I believe there's a grand creator. I believe in a God. I just don't believe in all the details that were told to me by men. But my family tends to talk about it a lot, but every time I try to talk, it's just shut down. Blank faces. It's like, ugh, you know, we don't want him around. He's different. But my family's been cool to me. I love my family. My family's the best, and they've allowed me to be me. But my generation, we're not as vocal as they are. Still to this day, we're in our 30s. It's weird.
yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, Jay, and that's good for them for allowing you to be you, you know. But I see what you're saying. That's interesting concept, to be the outlier in a situation like that, you know, or the outcast, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, since I was in my early 20s, I've been waiting, like, because I see some people in my family my age thinking different than them. But I'm in my mid 30s, and still to this day, we don't really bring up and question religion, which I would love to have those conversations, because I can learn from it, they can learn from it, but it comes up here and there. But, you know, you also don't want to be disrespectful and rude, but at the same time, you're like, well, how long do we wait till we can share our views? Are we going to be 60 and sharing them, or what?
Right. Yeah, and then those are very strict boundaries too, I think. I mean, you definitely got to watch where you step in those boundaries, for sure. Because, you know, so some people get really strong feelings about certain things like that. So, you know, it's a total opposite for me, man. I you know, grew up in a religious family, but, you know, it wasn't practiced very much, you know, and if you went to church, you did. If you didn't, you didn't, you know, and sometimes you'd go more often than not. But, you know, it's still pray every once in a while, I guess. With, you know, if I'm with my grandma, she's praying, or you know, if somebody's passing away, or. But, you know, in Mexican culture, it's like Dia de los Muertos, right? It means, you know, you get to see your family that has passed away. You know, I kind of buy into that a little bit. You know, I do feel that you have to learn, right? It's a learning experience. So when somebody's gone, you would have just hoped that if they were in your life, you were able to learn from them somehow. Like, you were able to take something away from them. And if you do that, those people will live with you forever, right? And so, you know, you remember them, you see photos, or whatever the case may be. You know, it's they're there somewhere. They're somewhere in this, wherever the hell that may be. So I do believe in something, you know, but just not sure what that something is, I guess.
Well, and maybe it's, you know, I talked about this in a deleted episode me and Nick did about a DMT experience. But by the way, if you sign up for our Patreon account, that's going to be set up soon. We're going to send you because typically we record about 2 hours, but we edit about an hour out of it, because sometimes me and Nick, we get a little tipsy or a little high, and or we're just having a bad day and we go on a rant. You know, we say some crazy shit. But if you sign up for our Patreon account, you donate some money, we'll send those to you, so you could use them against us when we're running for president one of these days.
We'll love you for it.
But yeah, it might be the DMT, but like sometimes I think are the ancestors us, or, you know, because when you do psychedelics, you tend to go, oh, we're all connected. I'm connected to this tree, this ground, to that tree, to my neighbor. We're all connected somehow, and you feel it when you're on these drugs. And ever since I've done that, you know, it sounds CBD, but killing an insect seems like I'm killing myself a little bit, or hurting myself. I still do it when they get crazy, but try not to. And it's crazy. I was never that guy, but yeah, man, it's our ancestors. us. Is my grandpa who passed away, who's such an influence on my life, us. And it's interesting who could be an influence on your life. And it's never for me, it's never been the smartest person or the richest person, the most successful person. It's been typically the very basic kind of, you know, blue collar type person.
The real person, man. Person that tells you like it is, you know?
You sound like a Trump supporter, bro.
Well, you know, because I've had a family like that, you know, that's just so real, you know? They're not going to beat around the bush. You know, if they don't like you, they're going to tell you straight up. And if they need to whip your ass, they're going to whip your ass. And it's just something about that says respect, you know? And something about that just says real. Because then you also get people that are in your life and, you know, just bringing a lot of negative energy. And so again, going back to keeping these people around forever, you know, when they leave a lasting impression on you, I think it's that real aspect, you know, it's being able to connect one-on-one and really, and I think, you know, it reminds me of Avatar. Remember that movie? Sick-ass fucking movie. But when they say, I see you, you know, that's what they mean. Like, I see you. I can see through you. I see who you are. I know, you know, what kind of person you are. That's deep, man.
Yeah, man, that's a scary thing too. It's someone can see through the bullshit and see who you really are. That's a scary thing because a lot of us are still figuring out who we are. I know I am. I wish I thought I would know myself by now, but some years I know myself and some years I get a little lost, and it's a scary thing, right?
Oh, fuck yeah. It's a learning experience, man. But here we are looking on this wild ass adventure, you and I, and it's a learning experience. But, you know, the fact that we're doing it says a lot, right? About motivation and drive and not giving a fuck really and just seeing how things pan. But adventure nonetheless.
Oh man, like kind of like I was talking about doing stand-up comedy. I always respect comedians because they're kind of free in a way, you know, especially with these PC culture, people being attacked, you know, most comedians get away with it, not all of them, but because they could hide behind laughter, but there's an art form to it. And that's why I wanted to do it, because I knew it took balls. And when I'm scared of something, I tend to know I need to do it. And that's probably because I grew up in Lindsay with you scary Mexicans that would bully me in junior high. And, brown pride familia, norteños and serreños, oh my, and kids with goatee. When I don't, you know, I can't ever grow a goatee now, and kids had a full goatee in 7th grade that were bullying me. So I learned in high school just to, you know, fight back and just let it go and just be who you are and face your fears, basically. And, you know, comedians, they fucking say whatever they want. And I don't know exactly where I was going with this. What were you just talking about? Just smoked.
Yeah, well, we were talking about just kind of just being real and being who you are, you know, and that's the thing. Yeah.
So I you know, when you could go, what's the strongest thing you could do when you have an insecurity? It's to put it out there. Fuck, everyone knows now. Like, I can't be insecure. It's like, so like I have some man boobs, you know. When I'm muscular, it looks good, but when I'm chubby like I am now, they get a little man booby. And I was always, you know, probably in my head, but I was always insecure about it. So 20 seconds before, you know, probably like, 20 minutes or something before I'm going on stage, I ripped up all the shit I was going to do that I've been writing for weeks. And 300 people in a sold out crowd. Kill Tony gives you that opportunity. It's not the normal way for a comedian, but which I don't consider myself a comedian because that's the only time I've done it. But I talked about my man boobs right off the bat. And just fuck it. And it, dude, like, and I talked about my, my girl putting a finger up my butt, like I just went, I just said, fuck it, and I went with it because.
Go watch it. Go watch it, ladies and gentlemen.
Kill Tony 405 on the first person to go up. You might have to scrub a little bit forward past the bullshit, but I just said, fuck it, man. And it was great. And it was well received because I knew from watching that show, if I went up there and tried to bullshit, try to act like someone I'm not, those motherfuckers that put their shit out there every day would call me out. And that's what they do on that show. So I said, fuck it. Like Eminem. Eminem talked about him being white and all this bullshit, just before anyone else could do it,
Hey, you're right though. You got to put it out there. Once it's out there, it's out there, and then you work with it. But I love that, man. And shit, we just talked about that the other day. Just got to fucking roll the dice sometimes, Jay. Just got to, see what happens.
Yeah, great risk, great reward. But sometimes risk, you get scratched and burned, but you have a lesson. You know, you got to have lessons. And any successful person always talks about those risks and that you're gonna fail, but you keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, the sacrifice, right? You have to make some sacrifices, and not only for yourself, but shoot, man. I think about this all the time as a father. Fathering young children, you want to tell them what to do, right? You want to, talk to them and show them, and tell them what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. But you just grow to realize that they're watching everything you do. No matter what you're doing, they're watching. And so it doesn't matter what the hell you tell them. It's what you show them, right? And so if you show them, they're going to pick that shit up. But if you show them and tell them something different, they're going to pick that shit up too. Like, this fucker's lying. He's full of shit,
This mofo. Well, it's like, I heard recently that you give birth to when you have kids, basically you're giving birth to your biggest critics.
Yeah, I would say so. Heck yeah, man. Shit, you don't know how many times I've told my kids, hey, put down your phone. And they just look at me like, put down your phone. Shit.
You're like, I'm working on Facebook.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Marketing. But
it's an experience, man. Shit, but technology in general, actually going back to Elon, fucking crazy ass, dude, he's talking about like neural links and shit like that, linking your cell phone and your Facebook page to your electronic avatar to your actual person. Interesting shit, man.
Yeah, living in San Francisco, that was a big talk, and it's kind of normalized up there. It's not normal for me. I'm like, fuck that. Don't touch, don't put anything in me. And I think we talked about this possibly once, but about the companies putting chips in people a few years ago. And I went to work, and I work with these smart and very brilliant engineers. I think, in my opinion, I'm just a dumb designer caveman, but. Two of the guys I thought were pretty smart and also great personalities and down to earth. I said, do you guys believe this? And they're like, oh, I haven't heard. I've been too busy coding, but yeah, I would do it. It's gonna happen eventually. So what? I expected sometimes they were just both like, yeah, no way. And I asked them separately, and they're like, you have your cell phone on you, da 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 da. But I'm like, but dude, like something being inside of you, nah.
Hey, I mean, we're already there pretty much, but I think it's just the next level of what's coming. It's coming, Jay, for sure. And it's funny, dude. I went to go get my dog microchip. This probably has nothing to do with any of this shit, but just made me think of it. Went and got my dog microchipped, and I swear to God, I thought it was gonna be a process, surgery, all this stuff. No, like she came out with a needle, stuck a shot in her back, pulled the shot out. She's like, okay, you're done. Get out of here. I was like, what do you mean? Now my dog is trackable and all this other shit? It's like, yeah, you're good. It's like, damn, it took her like 1 second to put an electronic device in my dog's body.
Is it in the bloodstream or under the skin? How's that work?
I have no idea. I didn't even ask.
Well, it makes you wonder when you see that, a little conspiracy coming, but like it makes you think about when you're like born and get vaccines and stuff. Like they could do that to a dog. They're definitely could do it. So me and you could be chipped now. We don't even know it.
Oh, for sure, right.
That's why I drink lots of tequila to try to fuck with that shit.
Yeah, good for you, Jay. Go tequila, coconut water, man.
It's not gonna do it, bro. You're fire. But